You've got ideas, you've got ambition, you've got no time, or so you think. I'm Marissa Lonick, and I help busy moms with big dreams and no time. Join me each week as I dive into time management strategies, goal setting and achieving framework, and inspiring guests who are juggling mom life, work life, fill in the blank life. Dreams don't work unless you do, and just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can't still make it happen, whatever it means to you. Welcome to the Mama Work It podcast. Hello, Mama friends. Welcome back. Another amazing episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I am always so glad you're here. I know I always say that, but I really am so glad you're here. If you are new to Mama Work It, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Marissa Lonick, and I am the founder of Mama Work It, an organization that supports moms in work life, wife life, mom life, fill in the blank life, all the hats that we wear. And today on the show, we are talking all about working mom struggles. Now, don't worry, this is not just like a total vent sesh where we are just going to like bitch about the working mom struggles. I'm going to give you some ways to relieve those struggles as well. But I think we need to talk about these things. These are things that are like sometimes taboo topics, sometimes things we don't feel comfortable talking to friends or mentors or family about. These are things sometimes we just kind of keep inside and we're like, am I the only one going through this? So we're putting it all out there today on the episode. And before we dive into it, I'll just give you a little bit of my, in particular, working mom background. I'm probably mentioned this on other episodes, but again, you're going to hear it again if you've heard it before, or if you're new, you get to know me a little bit better. So, personally, and P.S., I have 4 kids in case you're not aware right now. They are ages 10, 10, 7, and 4. And so I've been a working mom for a decade. I've done different things in the working mom life. Like I've been that traditional corporate working mom, working outside the home daily, commuting an hour each way, using planes, trains, automobiles, all different types of transportation to get to and from the office. I've been the hybrid working mom, some days in the office, some days at home. I've been the traveling working mom, leaving kids at home for days on end to attend conferences and seminars. I've been the COVID working mom. That started out as a total shit show. And eventually we did find our groove. And that was the precursor for publishing my first Udemy course that helped working parents in over 90 countries, which was how to work from home with kids during a pandemic. So even though that was a little bit of a challenging and hard time, it had its blessings as well. I have been the work from home mom, working full time, part time, flex time, whatever it is. So I've experienced a lot of different working mom scenarios in my personal experience. Now, as a coach, as a speaker, as a friend to many different types of working moms, I've also had hundreds of conversations with moms from a number of different working backgrounds, like lawyer moms, moms in medicine, teachers, corporate moms, C-suite moms, entrepreneur moms, small business owner moms, nonprofit working moms, volunteer working moms, you name it. Okay. So I get it. It is different circumstances for different fields, different types of schedules. I totally understand. But I will say that even though these roles may be very different in what all of these moms do, and probably what you listeners do, what your schedules are like, how many hours a week you work, the struggles that I hear are pretty similar. Okay. So I think we have this common denominator, mamas. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through the top 5 struggles I hear. And I've experienced all of these myself. All right. And then, of course, I'm going to give you some tips on how to manage these struggles and how to make you or how to help you feel more like you are thriving in working motherhood and less like you're just surviving it. Because I know what that feels like to be in that survival mode. It is not fun. It is not a place you want to be for very long. You got to get out of there. All right. So, if you are in a safe place to do so, maybe jot down some notes. If you are not in a safe place to do so, you can always come back, re listen to the episode. You can listen as many times as you want. This is going to be there forever and ever and ever. So, do not worry. But I will say, it has been statistically proven, you guys. If you actually like write something down that you heard that is something you want to remember, you want to reiterate, you want to go back to, or even if you come back and re listen to the episode later, you are much more likely to retain this information and actually implement it and have it actually help you in life. Okay. If you do nothing after listening to today's episode, like take no action, write nothing down, not re-listen, not reiterate, not think about any of this content, in a week from today, you will have forgotten 75% of it. And I'm going to venture to guess that might even be higher. Like if you're a busy mom with lots of stuff, the mental load being really heavy in your life, you may actually remember even less than a quarter of what I'm about to tell you. So do what feels right to you. Obviously, if you're like driving, walking, doing something and you can't write it down, don't, but come back and listen again. All right. So let's go through each of these 5 struggles. We're going to talk about them, and then we're going to talk about how we can help ourselves not feel like we are in that struggle zone. All right. So, struggle number 1, as a working mom, you have no time. You feel like you never have time. You are always jam packed in your schedule, always busy, always rushing from one thing to the next. Never have time. Never have time for a hobby. What's that? Never have time to like see or speak to friends. Maybe never have time to do anything for yourself. Maybe just never have time in general to even like take a deep breath. This is a real issue. This is a real struggle. And let me tell you, I used to say, I don't have time, like ad nauseum, day in and day out. This was like a phrase I'd use over and over and over again. And I leaned into this scarcity mindset when it comes to time like no other. And if you are also feeling this, don't worry, you are not alone. Like this is like the number one struggle, the number one thing I hear when I talk to clients, new clients, when I talk to even like mom friends out there, anyone. Like we all lean into this time scarcity mindset. I don't have time. There's no time. And so let's talk about how we get out of this, how we stop feeling this struggle of limited time. And you may or may not like my answer to this, okay? And like obviously there are things you can do. There are things you can do like tactical things in your schedule. And we're going to go through other things in today's episode of that. But the most important thing that you can do that's going to have the most lasting effect on how you are feeling about the time, the limited time that you have right now in this season, is having a mindset shift. Is having a mindset shift about time in general. Okay, so let me explain what this means because if you are not into the woo, into what I like to lean into here, a lot of the subconscious work, and trust me, I was not always this person, so I get it. If that is you and you're like, oh God, about to hit stop or hit pause, no, don't do it yet. Listen, hear me out, hear me out. Your mindset, friends, is responsible for up to 95% of your success in life. Okay. If you want to be successful at managing your time, at not feeling like time is in control of you and you're actually running the show in life, you got to start here with the mindset. Okay. And how this starts is you shift your mindset from one of scarcity. I don't have time. There's never enough time. Whatever it is you're telling yourself each and every day. And you shift it from that to one of abundance. There's always enough time for what's important to me. Okay. There's a big difference there. Now, this is very simple. It's a very simple shift. Okay. You stop thinking that you don't have time. You start thinking that you do have time, but it is not that easy. And I recognize and I understand that. Very simple, but not very easy to just switch and implement. One thing you're going to do, very simple step, is when you catch yourself speaking those words, thinking those words, I don't have time, you're going to stop yourself in the moment. Okay. You're going to catch yourself. You have to like police yourself here. Okay. And you're going to tell yourself, it's not that I don't have time. It's that this particular thing is not a priority to me right now. So let's say you're thinking about working out. It's not that I don't have time to work out. It's that right now in this season, working out just isn't a priority to me. Now, that might feel relief. That might make you feel some relief when you say it, like, well, shit, it's not. Just had a baby. Like, I'm not sleeping through the night, whatever it is. Or that might make you feel kind of shitty. And if it does, then guess what? You're going to figure out a way to fit that into your life. You're going to figure something out, whether that means you're setting the alarm for half an hour earlier, whether that means you're scrolling a little less, in the evening and you're scrolling while you're on the treadmill or the Peloton or whatever it is. You're going to figure this out. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, doing a mile at lunch, whatever. Because it's not that you don't have time. It's that you're not prioritizing what maybe is more important to you. Your priorities are off. And when you make that simple mindset shift, you're able to prioritize more effectively. Okay, so struggle number one, you feel like you don't have time. We're leaning into some mindset shifts there when it comes to that, away from scarcity into abundance. Struggle number two, you're freaking overwhelmed. You are overwhelmed. You feel so just out of control because there is so much to do. And what maybe happens is that you get so overwhelmed that you go into this kind of freeze. I like to call it analysis paralysis. This is when you've got so much running through your brain or even so much on a lengthy to-do list that when you take a look at it or when you think about all those things swirling through your mind, all you can do is stop and kind of freeze. You don't even know where to start. It's just too stressful, too overwhelming. And what a lot of us tend to do in those moments is instead of like calming ourselves down and like looking and taking some deliberate action, because that feels so uncomfortable and so hard and so impossible, we numb out. We numb out. We take out our phone, we scroll. We put on the TV, we binge, we watch something. We, pick up the phone and text someone or call someone. Like we decide to do something completely unproductive with what we need to get done because it's like a quick dopamine hit. It's like a quick way to take us away into a la la land and not face the reality of what's going on in front of us. It's a coping mechanism and not a very healthy one. So let me give you some ways if you are feeling overwhelmed to help yourself out of that struggle. So first thing you can do that's going to help you is you need to get all that stuff out of your head and literally brain dump it onto a piece of paper. And this could be a piece of paper. This could be the notes app on your phone. This could be like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet, like whatever works for you, as long as it's coming out of the brain and onto another source. That's what matters. And just make a hot mess express list. Don't worry about it being organized. Anything that comes to mind that's like cluttering up that precious real estate in your brain, get it on the paper, get it on the list, okay? Out of your head, onto this source. Now, the first reason why you want to do this is you got to make space to be able to think more clearly. You got to clear the clutter. But also, did you know you're 42% more likely to complete something if you simply write it down? Whoa, hello, life hack. 42% more likely to get something done if you literally just write it down. It's a big deal. So once you've got this hot mess express list, a lot of people tend to feel like empowered, motivated. They want to attack it full force. Nothing wrong with that. But the chances are that every single day, you're not going to feel that excitement and motivation when you look at the list. That's going to dwindle real fast. It's also unrealistic to think that you are going to want to power through that list each and every day. And as we all know, working mom life can be very unpredictable as well. And so, what I'm going to recommend is that each and every day you look at that list and you select 3 small goals that you want to hold yourself accountable for that day. 3 small goals. Now, I want you to highlight them, circle them, bold them, whatever it's going to make them pop out, stand out. So you're not having to make all those decisions every day of what you're going to be doing. You've set the time to make the decisions. And then all you have to do is zoom in and focus on those 3 things. This also is setting the stage for not having impossible expectations upon yourself. 3 is a really reasonable number to expect. If you want to be an overachiever one day and do more than 3, great. But you also can allow yourself to feel done once you've done those 3. So, struggle number 2, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you have that analysis paralysis, that is how you're going to get out of it. Okay. Struggle number 3, you feel stretched too thin. You feel stretched too thin. You feel like you're just being pulled in all different directions. It's really challenging for you. Like you're constantly doing and saying yes and committing yourself to other things. And yeah, you're stretched too thin. So what your way of managing this struggle is going to be to set more boundaries. Set more boundaries. And I know this again is a lot easier said than done, but it's very simple when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of this. So, number 1, remember, no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. You want to make it a little more polite? No, thank you. I have definitely talked about boundary setting before on past episodes on this show, past solo ones. We've also had an entire episode in the early days of this show dedicated to boundaries. That was with guest Desiree Wolf. So go back and check that out if you haven't. But boundaries are super important, especially as a working mom. We wear a lot of hats. We have a lot of demands set upon us. Bottom line, we get shit done. So people like to ask us for things because they know it's a sure thing. It's going to happen. They know we're very efficient. They know that we can deliver. And so we are a lot of people's go-to, where our families go to, where our colleagues go to, where our, friends go to. And so we have to be really better and more confident in setting boundaries. Otherwise, we are going to struggle feeling stretched too thin. All right, we are moving on to struggle number 4 now. Struggle number 4 is you are exhausted. You're freaking tired. And you're not just tired because you didn't get a full night sleep last night. You didn't get 8 hours. You're 104% tired all day, every day. Like caffeine ain't helping. Naps ain't helping. This tiredness runs deep. So you can put a Band-Aid on your exhaustion. Like you could caffeinate, you can take a nap, you can even go to sleep early tonight. But again, these are all just Band-Aids. And your tiredness probably needs legit stitches at this point, like real medical help. So no Band-Aid is going to fix that for the long term. Now, I wrote an entire chapter on sleep in my first book, Time Management. I'm going to give you a little Cliff Notes version on that chapter here so you can take a few of my tips on how to feel less exhausted. And by the way, these are all pretty much like habitual changes, lifestyle choices you need to make in order to make this long-term positive effect on your life. Like this isn't a do it once and your problem is solved forever. But if you maintain habits like these, it's definitely going to help you feel less tired. And also when you have a rough night with your toddler or you had to work late or whatever interrupted your sleep, hopefully it's not going to affect you as much because you're starting from a much more well-rested place. Okay, so take some of these tips if you're feeling exhausted. Okay, first tip, no phone in bed. I made this one of my 2024 goals, actually, that Monday through Friday, I wouldn't look at my phone in bed. This is going to make you go to bed earlier. This is going to make you avoid doom scrolling at night. It's going to actually help you get better rest because you don't have any of that blue light you're looking at before going to sleep. So, if you simply make that a rule, a habit for yourself that you don't look at your phone in bed, I guarantee you're probably going to get more sleep. Next, I want you to set a bedtime and stick to it. The more routine you can make your sleep, the better. Your body likes routine, it likes predictability, it needs rest. So, if you have a routine for yourself, if you have a bedtime, a consistent schedule of when you're going to sleep, that's going to help you get better sleep. So, set a bedtime, give your body that level of control and time and all it needs and then what it needs to recharge and reset. And it's really that simple. Like put a little reminder on your phone that's like, hey, time for bed. You could have that sleep app. I think there's like that sleep thing, that focus thing where you don't get phone calls or texts past a certain hour and your phone knows it's like your time to go to sleep. So do that. Okay, finally, last little tip on sleep. And again, there's more of this good stuff in Time Management. So if you want to pick that book up, go for it. But this is a good one. It's about making your sleep space more zen. What do I mean by this? If your bedroom needs like a little bit of a makeover, like the comforter needs to be replaced because it's got like baby spit up stains on it, or your night table needs to be decluttered because you've got like tons of stuff on there that you don't even look at, or you need to put a little diffuser or like some lavender spray or something that's going to really help you feel at peace or calm, an inviting space for you to get some really good quality sleep, do it. And I know sometimes quantity seems really tough in the season you're in motherhood when it comes to sleep. Like if you've got a newborn, if you've got a kid who's not sleeping through the night, it's hard to get that quantity, that full like 8 hours straight of uninterrupted sleep. But at least if you can't control that, you can control the quality of the sleep that you are getting. And making your sleep space more zen can really help you do that. So do what you can there to make it really, really top notch. All right, we are moving on now to struggle number 5. Struggle number 5 is you no longer have fun. Oh, this is one you may not have noticed because maybe you've been too busy, like feeding someone or changing someone's diapers or getting that report finished or calling back a client or scrolling social media to numb out the way you're feeling. But I want you to think back to the you before you had kids. Were you fun? Were you the life of the party? Did you dance? Did you have a hobby or more than one hobby? What did you enjoy doing? Have you done any of that recently? Are you laughing lately? You guys, when I was preparing today's episode, I felt really convicted by this one. I'll be honest. Okay. Vulnerable moment here. Like, I've worked with many life coaches before, and I've done that wheel of life exercise lots of times. And fun has consistently fallen to the bottom of my priorities. And consequently, I often score myself very low here regularly when I do that exercise. And you may not think this is like a big problem. Like if you're a hard worker, a high achiever, if you're in a season where you're just like really trying to achieve big goals, like starting your business or growing your business or buying a house or whatever it is, you may be like, well, the fun will, I'll have more fun, in a few months or whenever this season's passed. But the truth is, like, this is a real problem. If you're not having fun, you're actually highly affecting other parts of your life in probably a pretty negative way. You're probably more cranky with your kids, impatient with your husband, your partner. Maybe you're less creative, like you're less fun. And so, dare I say, you're probably even feeling less successful. And again, I'm being really vulnerable here. And I'm going to tell you, this is an area I have been struggling with a lot lately. And as I was preparing the episode, like I was thinking about past years, past trips, past experiences, even small ones, even little things, and how I could just detach and have fun. And lately, I haven't been feeling that way. And it feels like there's a lot holding me back from experiencing that feeling. And honestly, I've been kind of worried. Like, I don't even know how to get back there. So, here's what I'm recommending and what I'm going to recommend to myself, what I'm going to plan to do when it comes to incorporating more fun into my working mom life. All right. So, advice for you, but advice for me too, really, honestly. I'm going to schedule it in because let's get real. If it's not scheduled, it's probably not happening. So, I'm going to make sure I have blocks of time scheduled in events, fun things that I'm doing on my calendar so they are more likely to actually happen, to actually occur for me to follow through with. I am also going to set aside time for disconnection when it comes to work. So even though I love my work, it can definitely, and often it does, take priority when it comes to fun, probably more than it needs to. And that's on me. So I need to be more strict. I need to be more diligent about disconnection there. And spoiler alert, next week, we're talking all about taking breaks in life. So be sure to tune in because I think it's really going to help you if this is an area you struggle with. What else? I'm going to start a new hobby or membership or something like once, and I'm committed to doing this once my kids are back in school. So post summer, I am either going to take some type of class or join a book club or something that is going to regularly be my thing on my calendar that I look forward to doing that is fun. And then finally, this is a big one, I'm going to stop feeling guilty for having fun. And we've got a lot of episodes on this show that talk about mom guilt. So I would highly suggest you go check them out if this is a big reason that's stopping you from having fun. But I want to reiterate that guilt is often the main thing that stops you from doing fun things for yourself. So I'm going to do some inner work when it comes to getting a better hold on that guilt so I can have more fun without the baggage of guilt that sometimes tags along for the ride and honestly like ruins it all and makes it feel not even worth it. So I'm going to work on that inner work when it comes to that guilt. All right, friends. So that is today's episode. We have got another fantastic one next week. And then I'm going to give you fair warning. We're going to take our annual break of the show. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. I do this every year. I like to give myself that time, that space, that disconnection for a minute in order to be able to come back fresh, creative, excited for a new season. So tune in next week, then go ahead, binge old episodes while we're on our pause. And know that you can always reach me via email on DMs if you want to connect. And of course, you can always leave a review and tell us what you thought of the episode or the show overall. We just love, love, love receiving your reviews. And that is that. So keep on working it, Mama. I will see you next week. I hope you found today's episode helpful, and I'll see you soon. Bye. You've been listening to the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and would love if you could take a quick minute to leave me a review on whichever platform you're listening from, and maybe even send a note to a fellow mama friend recommending it. Reviews and recs help this podcast grow and reach more like-minded, awesome moms. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that button so we can stay in touch, girl. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Mama Work It website, please do. There are lots of free resources and great articles there that can help you with the juggle of work life, mom life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So head on over. Thanks again for being part of the tribe. I'll see you soon, but in the meantime, keep on working it, Mama.